Hey guys, welcome to Cape and Cowl Cafe. I'm Nemo, and today we're going to be ranking the top 10 DCEU costumes. If you guys enjoy the video at any point today, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that like and subscribe button, but let's hop right in. Alright, starting off the list in 10th place, we have Wonder Woman. Now, all of her costumes in the DCEU are pretty much identical. The only difference is the color, and I do think that her suit from the Wonder Woman movie is the best of all of the variations. Her suit in Batman v Superman was pretty much just brown. It didn't even look red. It was really ugly, and I think her suit from the 1984 movie was way too bright and saturated for this kind of design. I do like those colors, but it didn't match the material or the kind of suit that they were going for. Now, the DCEU Wonder Woman has always reminded me of Captain America. You know, this suit is a perfect design for a World War II setting. It matches the more warrior Wonder Woman aesthetic, as opposed to the modern day superhero with the lasso and stuff. This definitely fits better. I like the more armored costume. I like the weathering on it. It looks really nice. It fits into that World War II aesthetic really well. I don't think that this should be the costume for a modern day Justice League Wonder Woman, but for this, it works. It's near perfect. Like, I don't see how they could have messed this up. Like, it's pretty simple. Now, the suit does have lines, but they're not random, over-designed ones that are kind of all over the place. They serve a function. The lines, they're all uniform, they're going in the same direction, and they're just kind of helping to shape the torso section of the armor. It makes sense. This is just a really solid costume for a more serious and grounded Wonder Woman. All right, next up at number 9, we have Batman from Batman v Superman. Everyone knows that this costume is great. Obviously, it's heavily inspired by The Dark Knight Returns. It's just a classic gray and black fabric-based batsuit. It's amazing. I have no idea how we went from this to the batsuit that we saw in The Flash. Just probably the biggest fall off I have ever seen. Now, what I really like about this is the texture on the gray parts of the fabric. It is just worn and scratched up, and you can tell that this batsuit has encountered bullets and blades and all manner of weaponry, and this is a batsuit that has been worn for decades. You know, it really matches what they're going for. It's just such a shame that this costume has to be attached to one of the worst adaptations of the character in history, but I can't deny that this suit is beautiful. I know when this suit was first revealed, a lot of people made fun of the bat symbol for being too chunky, but I mean, in retrospect, after seeing the absolute Batman symbol, this one isn't really that big, and I think it looks pretty good. Alright, continuing with the BVS train, at number 8 we have the armored suit from BVS. This is one of those few comic book costumes that actually looks better than the source material. Now, as much as I love the armor from the original comic book, it's a little bland and boring. It's just basic chunky armor with a bat-shaped helmet thrown on top. This has a lot of form and function to it, and it just looks so good. I love the shaping of all the different armor pieces and seeing how they connect to each other. I love that you can see his base batsuit underneath all of this. I love the glowing eyes. I think that makes the suit look even more intimidating and badass. Like, this just looks way better. Again, it's just such a shame that such a beautiful costume has to be attached to this Batman, you know? But this armor is just so peak. It goes so hard. Alright, next up at number 7, we have the Superman costume from Man of Steel. Now, on this channel, I have been very vocal about my dislike for most of Henry Cavill's costumes in the DCEU. Most of them are just too shiny and slimy looking, and the muscle padding is just way too noticeable. They're just ugly. This one, however, looks way better. For the muscle suit, they are relying much more on Henry Cavill's natural frame, and they're not just puffing up the suit for no reason. And the material of the suit is way better as well. Most of the other DCEU Superman costumes just have this slimy, shiny finish on it, and it just looks gross. Like, I get it, it's supposed to be made out of this alien material, but they always go too far. This one still looks like fabric. Like, sure, it's alien fabric, but like, I don't know, it just doesn't look gross to me. This one actually looks pretty good. And I think a lot of that has to do with the colors. Now, in a lot of the later installments of this universe, Superman's suit's colors are boosted up way too much. They are way too bright for this kind of design and this kind of material. So when you have this kind of material and it's just like bright baby blue, it's gonna look gross, you know? The darker colors actually match this type of suit way better. Plus, I've always thought that most of Superman's costumes in this universe had way too small of a symbol. This one is perfect. I don't know why they shrunk it. Now, a lot of people's problem with this costume is the absence of the trunks, and I get it. Like, I like the trunks. I am a trunks truther, and I have seen versions of this costume that have trunks, and they look great. But this suit does the no trunks thing in a way where I don't really hate it as much. You know, they have the little circular belt buckle there, and then they have this little pattern going up the torso a little bit and on the waist, and it's enough to break up the blue in a way where you don't miss it as much. And because the blue is so dark, I don't really think it matters. Now, I think my favorite thing about the suit has to be the cape. It's just this nice velvety looking material. It looks so good. And honestly, the red isn't even that dark. Like, a lot of people are always saying that this suit is too dark, and I understand that with the blue. It is pretty dark, but the red is pretty much spot on. It looks so good. And that definitely goes for the boots as well. Overall, despite its flaws, I think this suit does a lot of things right, and it's definitely the best that this character has looked in this universe. Alright, next up at number 6, we have Mary Marvel from Shazam! Fury of the Gods. A terrible movie, and I think most of the costumes in this movie look terrible. I think Shazam's costume is a huge downgrade from his first one. Really missing the hood, and it just doesn't look as good. I think the muscle suit is a little lacking, you know? But Mary's costume, like, they cooked with this, you know? How does her costume look way better than the title character? It's just insane to me. Like, is it a little over-designed? Maybe. Like, I'm not a huge fan of all that segmentation happening with the boots, but the rest of the suit just looks so good. The textures, like, I don't understand why this kind of layout looks so bad on the rest of the characters, but it looks good on her. I really like the collar. I think that has to be my favorite part of this costume. The white cape looks great. I don't know. I can't explain it. This one just looks way better than Zachary Levi's costume. I think it's the collar. I think Zachary Levi's suit cutting off at the top of the lightning bolt and just having his neck exposed really hurts the design, and I think there should be more red above the lightning bolt. And I think her design really fixes that issue. So if his suit had a collar kind of like this, I would probably like it a lot more. All right, cracking the top 5, we have Michael Keaton's Batman from The Flash. I know it's Michael Keaton Batman, but it's still technically in the DCEU, so I'm putting it on the list. Now, I've always been a fan of the aesthetic of Michael Keaton's Batman. Those movies definitely contributed a lot to how people see the character today. But, you know, his suits always just had flaws with them. You know, I saw the Vision with the all-black look with the yellow symbol, but they were always too rubber looking or, you know, too dusty looking. It was too stiff. There was always something wrong with them. But this costume modernizes that design in a way that just makes it look so good. I do think that the all-black batsuit concept can work if you do it right. And this one, you know, kind of displays that idea in a way that just... I like it. Like, I can't explain it. This suit just looks so good, especially in the movie. I just think the suit is so good because it takes a lot of the stuff that people loved about the older movies and the older suits and just updates it, you know? It's not often that we get to see something like that happen. The only other one that I can really think of is the 90s Flash from the Crisis on Infinite Earths event. They kind of took that older suit, updated it, kind of fixed what didn't work. And it looks great. I guess my only gripe would be that I wish that the belt was also yellow. I'm not sure. I can't really tell what I would like more. But either way, this suit is awesome. All right, next up at number 4, we have Blue Beetle. And this one's kind of weird because it's in the old universe and the new one at the same time, technically. So I'm going to count it. It is just crazy to me that this costume is a practical stunt suit that they actually made. I feel like that's definitely a lost art nowadays. Like, you would expect a suit like this to be fully CGI, but no, like, this is the suit. He was actually wearing this. Now, Blue Beetle is definitely a character we're going for a more creepy, gross-looking alien aesthetic. Can definitely work. Definitely don't like that with Superman or even like symbiote Spider-Man, I guess. But here, it works, you know? Kind of the gross and weird, wrinkly, veiny-looking textures all over the suit. It really fits this version of the character, and like, wow, that suit-up scene where the suit's just kind of taking over his body in his parents' house, like that was so gross, but so great at the same time, you know? Like, it was a really unique scene, and I was kind of shocked by how gruesome it was, you know? One of the coolest things about this costume is the balance that it strikes between looking alien and kind of creepy, but also looking like a futuristic suit of armor. Now, when it comes to the mask, I do think that the helmet looks a little too big, but that's bound to happen when you're making a practical stunt suit, so I don't really mind it. But when it comes to the faceplate, I really think they made a good decision with not including the mouth from the comics. I don't know if anyone's been able to adapt that faithfully yet, you know? Like, that's something that I've always kind of been afraid of when people talk about adapting Batman Beyond. I'm like, oh, if they do the mouth, is it gonna look ugly? Like, they're just weird. How would they do that? So I think the best solution is just to get rid of it entirely. That's probably the best way to go. I think I just put this one so high on the list because I really respect the craftsmanship behind it. Like, it could have been so easy to just make this a fully CGI costume, especially since this is a character who wears essentially a nanotech Iron Man suit. Like, They could have just made it all CGI, but they didn't, and I really respect that. Alright, breaking into the top 3, we got Dr. Fate from Black Adam. Now, this movie actually had a surprising amount of good costumes, but this one was definitely the standout for me. I think they translated this character perfectly into live action, and leaning into more of the mystical and ancient aesthetic definitely worked. Now, Dr. Fate is supposed to be one of the all-powerful ancient lords of order, and this guy looks the part. I love the asymmetrical helmet. It just looks kind of weird, but I think that's the point. I love the texture on the suit, how it's all this ancient writing. Looks so good. The blue and the gold is just the perfect color combination. I like how the cape doesn't really look like a natural fabric, and it's, you know, it almost looks like it's made out of liquid. Like, I don't know. This costume is just so good. I definitely would like to see Dr. Fate look like this in the DCU. I would not mind that at all. Like, this is probably the perfect way to adapt him in live action. Also, I think not including the eyes on the helmet is just a really good way to hint to the fact that when this guy puts on the helmet, it's not him anymore. He's not in control. Naboo is. That's just such a cool detail. All right, sitting at number 2, we have Black Manta from the second Aquaman movie. I thought that Black Manta's look in the first one was a little weird. The armor was way too chunky and he kind of looked like a robot, like he didn't even look like a person, but wow, this second costume is just so peak. Like, this is the definition of comic book accuracy. I know that term gets thrown around a lot, and a lot of the time it doesn't really apply, but it definitely does here. Now, I really admire this design because they could have, held back when it came to the helmet, but they did not. They could have modernized it, shrunk it down, changed the shape, but no, they went all in. We have the giant melon-shaped Black Manta helmet, and it looks great. And the helmet is really the only talking point of this costume because the rest of it is pretty much just a basic skin-tight black bodysuit and then, the silver collar. The helmet is really the thing that makes this costume special, and I am just so glad that they weren't afraid of the source material, Everyone's afraid to adapt the goofy looking stuff because they're like, oh, this is gonna look stupid in live action. But it's so much fun when people just dive in head first and they're not afraid to be a little silly. Like, I don't know what else to say. It's literally just Black Manta ripped off the page. He's right here. It's so good. All right, coming in at number 1, we have Aquaman. I mean, how more comic accurate could you get? You can't, it's just the classic orange and green. They got the scales right. They got the fins on the gloves and the boots. It's just Aquaman. Like, as much as I don't think that Jason Momoa was really the right pick for the character, he looks damn good here, Now, yes, Aquaman's comic book design on paper, in theory, should be ridiculous looking, but with this costume, with the amount of texture and detail that they've added, the scales, all of it, this guy looks like the king of Atlantis. This is a very regal looking costume, and it really takes away from the silliness of the design. Like, sure, the color palette isn't the best, orange and green, but, this is a foreign race of people who live under the sea. What they think looks sick is probably going to be different from what we think is normal, Orange and green might be the black and red of the Atlantean people. The only thing, and I mean the only thing that I could say that I don't like about this costume are the gold armor flaps running down the sides of his legs. That's it, That's the only part where I'm like, that's a bit much, but the rest of this costume is just perfect. This is Aquaman, ripped off the page. He's right here. It's Aquaman, no shirtless tattooed guy, no awkward, jacket vest from Smallville. Aquaman. Alright guys, that's going to be it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed it all, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that like and subscribe button and drop in the comments down below your favorite costume from the DCEU. Let's talk about it. But yeah, until next time, I'll see you guys later.